Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl. This is Funny Wine Girl, aka Ginny Luby, and it is National Humor Month. Who couldn't use a laugh? Got my little squish ball here from the Scranton Counseling Center. Little happy face. Have a nice day? Yeah, have a nice day. Forrest Gump. I always think of that. The his smile on the mud from the mud in the t-shirt. Well, April is National Humor Month. So who else would I want to talk to but my pal, Gab Bonesso, who I cannot believe. I believe this is going to be our first conversation of 2026. No? Did we talk in January?
I think this is it.
It is. Yeah.
Time we talked this year. It's wild.
It is crazy because I was just thinking the other day, like for a while there, I was like, Gab was she's beyond the 5-year blazer on SNL. She's like 10, 12, 13. And it was like every other month there for a while. And I'm like, God, I have not talked to Gab in a while. But National Humor Month is a great time because Gab is a Pittsburgh based comedian. She is a performer for children with Josh, the Josh and Gab show, does amazing assemblies with kids, teaching kindness through music and laughter. And she's also a mental health advocate, does public speaking. She does a lot and she brings a lot of smiles to people's faces. So welcome, my friend, Gab Bonesso.
Thanks for having me, Janine. I missed you. And happy 2026.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's been great.
It's like here in Scranton, and I'm sure it's similar in Pittsburgh, we have so many free programs through our libraries, like art in the park and music concerts that really like a lot of, and I'm not saying, I mean, it is difficult when you don't have a certain budget, but there's a lot of free entertainment and free programs to take advantage of. So really, that needs to be encouraged more. I'm not saying making my point very eloquently, but that needs to be encouraged more. The making of the art and the appreciating of it, you don't need to have a lot of money to do that.
No, it's true. And one of my favorite things that happened in our country was during the FDR administration, during the New Deal, there was a federal theater project, which made it so actors and theater people could still work. It was a government funded program to present theater free to the people of America all across the country. And it was a way so the artists could still work during the Depression. And I almost feel like I wish that existed. It never stopped existing. Like, I don't need a lot of money, but if you could just like make sure my bills are paid and I have like heat, I will go entertain the world for the rest of my life. Like that would be my nunnery in service. I would love that. Like, and I sometimes are like, well, I wish that I never went away. Like, I wish there was still some kind of like you service to the country, the same as being a police officer or, I am giving you this service. I'm keeping you happy. Here's some entertainment, but yeah, I always thought that was so cool that happened then. And it's never happened again, but that's
yeah, no, but I will say there were certain like I guess they weren't really grants, but maybe I know there were certain funding, I should say, after the pandemic, for artists, because I know that there was some ARPA grant money here in Scranton, and I actually did get some of that, which I was grateful for. But it's always interesting, and I'm sure we could go down a rabbit hole with this, like people's perception of those and comments. Of course, on social media, it's a horrible place many times, but like what a horrible use of money that is for artists. It's like fix the potholes, and it's like, oh dear God. So, and again, those are the minds that you're probably not gonna change because they don't quite get it. Because not everyone has, and I think of this in my own life with my brother and how we are different and he doesn't quite get, I guess, what I do. Not everyone does a 9-to-5 job. Not everyone does a sales job. Not everyone does, but like the things that we do, you and I, make people happy, And I'm not saying it's better than, but it is certainly damn good. And some people don't understand that. So it's like, I remember with those ARPA grants, oh, fix the potholes and screen. It's like, that's not what this fund came from anyway. And it's like, do you not, and clearly this man who posted was not someone who would be out at a theater, highly unlikely,
right. Yeah, no, the people but yet they love Family Guy, right? And it's like, well, that artists make Family Guy, like as much as like, they had to start somewhere. My mother was I will say, like, my mom and dad, like, I love my new mental health speech because it's not like a pile on of mom and dad. It's like, mom and dad were awesome. Mom and dad did the best they could. Mom and dad did have 4 other kids, 3 of whom were adult males that lived in the home, and I saw a lot of stuff maybe I shouldn't have seen. But, regardless, love mom and dad, built confidence, and it's a really, a building thing. But my mother, they were always very pro the arts, and my mother would always say to me, she's like, I love artists before they get famous. She's like, your dad and I always loved Johnny Carson, like the new comedians before they get the TV show or before they go to the movies. That's when they're at their best. The musicians before they make it, like they're being so true to themselves. She's like, I just feel so she loved when I was doing comedy in Pittsburgh. She's like, we got to see so much local art together, and she's like, this is what I love the most. Like I prefer this type of art. I want to see people when it's not about the money. It's not about what the studio is telling them to do. It's about that, like true performing. And so to have a mom like that, like I in her eulogy, I even said, like, I don't think I was not going to be an artist. Like knowing my mother, like there was no way I was getting out of being an artist. Like that was just one of their kids was going to have to do that full time. And it was me. I was the one who ended up doing it. It was either be a doctor or be an artist. So we addressed my ADHD as a child. I could have done the doctor thing, but that's fine. I'll just be an artist. It's fine.
That's an interesting point, pardon me, about her liking them before they get famous. Because as you're saying that, I'm thinking about like all the, I'll say almost manufactured comedy. You know what I mean? When it gets to a certain point and everyone's got a tour and it's, a Netflix special. And I have to say, like a lot of them I'll watch and I'm like, I don't think this is funny. I'm like, this isn't that funny. And they were probably funnier when they were starting out or when they were doing the clubs constantly in New York City. You know what I mean? And they weren't manufactured. That's for lack of a better word. That's just kind of what I'm thinking, and that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, it's like they all like all of I don't know. It's like all of Hollywood has like this I don't even know what it is, like alien synthetic vibe to them. And I'm just like, that's relatable to you guys. Like that's who you want to like. I remember being a kid and worshiping people, and I'm like, ugh, like I do not worship Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan anymore. I can't believe I ever did. Look at them. Blah. Like I'm just like horrified at young Gab and how I I don't like I idolized like people who just acted. Like and I've seen like in Pittsburgh theater, there are some actors out there that I think are freaking incredible. And I've been blessed to see them on the stages here in Pittsburgh. And I'm just like, if they were, they are better than, I mean, they're as good as like, I don't want to go as good as Cherry Jones, but they're good. I mean, they could definitely act among Cherry Jones and Meryl Streep, some of these people. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, there is amazing talent in every local community. And if you're not out finding it, you're lost and it's affordable and you might even get to meet these people. But to the local artists, I want to say, remember who you are and keep your humility and like because that's the thing like I hate it when just because of my energy or because I'm positive someone's like oh you're so special and I'm like no you're so special and they're like no but you're special Gab I'm like no you're special you're just not tuning into what makes you special and you're projecting that onto me but you're special stop it we're every single human being is special. It's not my job to find what makes you special, but you got it. So stop throwing, like, I am no better than any other human. Like, we are all just doing our best. Like, no, I just have some energy. That's it. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
awesome, but I'm not better than you. Like, I hate that. That's something that's like one of my pet peeves. I hate
Mhm.
this, the ego. It's just so like, just because you sing or just because you do that, like, she can cook and he can fix my plumbing and he can, fix my car and like we all have these amazing talents and I wish everyone could just love themselves for their talent. Like that's how I am when I interact with someone. Like I met a guy from AAA and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're like a hero to me." And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, I drive for a living and like you have no idea how many times I've been stranded and you guys are my saviors and then I have to ride with you and like you have to hear my crazy thoughts and then I sometimes have the best conversations I've been with AAA drivers." And he's like, my gosh, thank you. He's like, I literally like kind of feel that way about my job, but no one has ever said that to me. And I'm like, I can't believe no one's ever, like, to me, you're a first responder. You're just as important as an EMT. Like, sir, I salute you. And he was just like, I am. And like now when I bump into him, I'll be like, hey, and I'm like, hey, AAA, what's up? And it's like this good vibe, but yeah, but I mean it. And I'm not like I feel that way about the person who makes my burgers at Moonlit. Like you make an amazing burger. Thank you so much. It was delicious. Like I don't know why we have to be better than others. Like why can't we all be appreciative?
Yeah. Wow. That's if we had more of your energy and that vibe, that thought, like, because I'm sure that meant a lot to that guy, that triple, because how many people actually say something like that to him? So nice and so appreciative. Like that matters. Like telling people that they're doing a good job or that you appreciate them. It matters and it makes a difference, I'm sure, in their day, how they feel. Yeah.
I mean, I've literally been stranded on highways multiple times and there is nothing scarier. Like because
Hmm.
people don't they don't move over on a lane. You're like I'm gonna die. And like everyone says, get out of your car and go 10 feet away in case someone hits your car. I mean, even that alone, I'm like, okay, well, what if they hit the car and it shoots 10 feet where I'm standing? Like, I don't want to be here. AAA, help. I mean, it really, like, yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
EMTs, I'm a fan. Teachers, I'm a fan. Plumbers, I'm a fan. There's not a job that I don't appreciate. Like, I am thankful. Thank you. You keep us all. And that's why I'm scared when the robots are going to take all our jobs because I like you guys doing it.
Oh man, we can go on a different topic there. Well, we didn't talk much about humor, although we did kind of incorporate it a little bit. But I wanted to ask you because when you were talking about before when you were in a different place in life and people writing to you being depressed and they're like, "Oh, don't write to Gab." You made me think of Maria Bamford. Are you a fan of Maria Bamford? And I don't know if we've talked about her before. We might have, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating it, but do you like her?
I do like her. I mean, I was a huge Comedians of Comedy fan, and Maria, I wouldn't say was my favorite of the Comedians of Comedy. I'm a huge Zach Galifianakis fan, but I do like her. My friend Arvin, huge Maria Bamford fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's coming to Philadelphia in October, and it's funny because I've been following her for a while. Like I knew she did the Target commercials, and I don't know years ago if that's what brought attention or whatever. But I watch all of her stuff on like YouTube. I'll watch the videos, and I do think I know she's quirky, but I do like that she talks about mental health. I do like a lot of her jokes. I mean, some of them I'm just like a little too bizarre for me or whatever. But I like her stuff typically, and she's coming like I said in October, and I saw that and I was like, oh, Oliver lives in that area now. He's outside of Philly, and I messaged him and he's like he didn't know her. He's like, I never heard of her. And I sent him, I don't know which clip I sent, but he didn't love it. And he's like, well, maybe he goes, I'll have a cocktail and we'll go anyway or whatever. And then another friend of mine, Sharon, I'm like, do you like Maria Bamford? Do you know her? And she's like, I don't know who she is. And then I sent her a couple clips and I'm like, well, I might just buy 2 tickets and somebody's going to go with me. But I don't know why I was surprised. I mean, I know she's not a household name, but she has been on Stephen Colbert. And I mean, she's pretty popular, but I was like, well, I'm going to go. It's because, and then I think I texted my friend Sharon. I'm like, I'm going to get the 2 tickets. Someone's going to go with me because why the hell not? I deserve it because I like her. Like, why not? And support comedy. And I do like her. So whatever.
Well, I've had a running joke because often when I like in the early years of getting booked at mental health stuff, it would be just for comedy. And they'd be like, "Hi, we were just wondering what your rate is," and I would give them my rate, and they'd be like, "Okay, good. We were hoping, no, we can definitely afford that. We call you the affordable Maria Bamford," and I like got that multiple times. So I was like, that was a running joke. I'm like, "Oh, the only reason I'm here is that I'm the affordable Maria Bamford." I guess she actually, wants to pay her electric bill anyway. And then I go into bed, whatever. And then my therapist got a friend was like, "You have to come see Maria Bamford with me. She's at the Pittsburgh Improv." And so my therapist went and she said she didn't laugh at all. And then our next session, she's like, "Gab, do you know Maria Bamford?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm the poor man's Maria Bamford." That's why she's like, I can't talk about you being my patient, but I was like, I know there's a local woman funnier than her, and that would do a much better job at mental health comedy than this woman. I couldn't say your name, but Gab, you're so much funnier than Maria. So I made a TikTok where I'm like, my whole career I've been told I'm the poor man's Maria Bamford, but today my therapist told me that she thinks I'm funnier than Maria, and that's all I really need in this world, guys. I've won. I'm good. And I just kind of left it at that. But no, I do like her. I just think our approaches are so people have always been like, you should open for her. And I'm like, our approaches are so different. I would not, I've opened for Brian Posehn. That makes sense of the comedians of comedy because he's so low energy and I'm so high energy. I'm the perfect opener for him. Like, I just wish people could see that. It's not personal. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, everything has a reason for how it works out. But
Mm.
I would go with you if I was, when is it, Janine? I'll go to Philly.
I think it's like October 4th. I have to check, but I'm like, because I mean, I'm like, you know what? She's close by. I watch her. I laugh. Why wouldn't I want to go? And I'm like, it's only 2 hours from my house, a little over 2 hours, but it's just funny because I'm just I'm assuming. I'm like, I knew she wasn't famous. Like not everybody knows her, but I was like, I just surprised that Oliver hadn't heard of her and my friend Sharon. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I don't know. And I'm like, okay. We did go see, and I don't think you and I haven't been able to talk since then, or we haven't talked, I should say. Oliver and I did go see Fortune Feimster with his husband came to Jim. We saw her at it was in Ben Salem at Parks Casino back in February. So it was a nice time to visit Oliver and Jim. And we did go to see her on Friday night. And she was so sweet, like just so and funny, but just very sweet and humble. Really a lot of interaction with the audience.
I got to open for her once and she was just very like not an ego. We shared a green room. very complimentary of my set. Like, just I really dug her, and I loved her stand up. I was like, you are amazing, and I felt really lucky to get to open for her because she is high energy. But there was a feature between us, so I think that's how it worked out. But yeah, no, I love Fortune. I got to Janine. I never go to live comedy. I don't leave my house. I'm a recluse, and I started playing Minecraft. So over. I'm never leaving the house again. Like Ginny, I get to build roller coasters. But anyway, if I
Oh
didn't
boy,
know I was
Oliver! Shout out to Oliver who loves roller coasters. Go ahead.
oh yeah, you guys have to come to Kennywood. If I didn't know I was on the spectrum and had ADHD, my love of Minecraft would be like, oh well, then it's confirmed. It's 100. Like I've already taken all the tests, but this is like the final straw. It's like, oh yeah, she's totally neurodivergent. But my sister bought me for Christmas to see Steve Martin and Martin Short, and when I say
Oh boy.
like I can never go to a comedy show again, Janine. I mean. It was the greatest performance of comedy live I know I'll ever see in my life. They're my two favorite comedians. Yeah, it was phenomenal. Martin Short is a gift to the world. Steve Martin is a gift to the world. And the only part my sister didn't like was 15 minutes are dedicated to Steve's bluegrass playing and Rose
Oh, okay.
during the 15 minutes. I was like, okay, wake up. It's back to comedy. But
Was that in Pittsburgh?
it was in Pittsburgh. Yeah, it was so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was about like next to her buying me a Nintendo Switch. That was probably the best Christmas present ever.
I mean, they're both good, but I have to say, if I picked one, I mean, don't get me wrong, Steve Martin's funny. I love Martin Short, and I think it's because watching him on SNL, like his character work, like I mean, just so funny, so funny.
I was Ed Grimley in third grade for
I
Halloween.
remember you said, yeah. I mean, that was one of my favorite characters, and that and the what's the one, the albino, like Jackie Rogers Jr. or
Oh my
whatever.
gosh. Yeah.
Oh my God,
Well,
his
and when he
characters were
did
great.
like Niles Hepburn or Ned Hepburn, Katharine Hepburn's nephew. Did you ever see what he would do?
Was that wasn't the one where he had the slicked hair and he was smoking and he was like I think that was kind of like
I
a
think that was a different one.
businessman.
And I feel like he did the Hepburn thing on SCTV. I feel like those were more SCTV skits.
Okay.
Yeah, I had an older brother who was obsessed with comedy growing up, so I got to watch all the SCTV, all the old SNLs, like, and my parents didn't censor anything I watched, which good or bad. I like look back at movies that I loved as a little kid, like Heartburn. I don't know if you know that movie with Meryl Streep and Jack Nicholson. It's all
I've
about.
heard of it, but I never saw it.
I was 5 years old, Janine. It was my like I would just watch it all every day. I was on HBO, obsessed. I loved Meryl. I loved Jack. Nora. It's about Nora Ephron's real life. That's when I became obsessed with Nora. I mean, 5, 6 years old. I can't imagine Oscar watching a drama about marital, like, infidelity and divorce, and just saying riveted for 2 hours. Like, I was a bizarre child, and I love it. Like, it's so great.
Oh man, that's awesome. But yeah, that's cool. Well, and Fortune was really, she was funny. And I will say though, talking about like, your therapist not thinking Maria Bamford was funny. Well, I did not think her opener was very funny. And I guess she gets them based on region where she's at. Cause I'm like, I just kept saying to Oliver, I'm like, I'm funnier than this guy. Like, I mean, he wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. I laughed a couple of times, but like for her, like that level, like I'm like, we're near Philadelphia. I've worked with comedians from Philadelphia who I believe are funnier than this man. I don't know how it happened, but I'm like, well, good for him because this is that he's here is pretty amazing. But she was great. And I could kick myself because so they have VIP packages where you can meet her. Cause I do listen to the Handsome podcast with her, Tig Notaro and Mae Martin, and they're all on tour and they all like the meet and greets. And she's so kind and sweet. Like she hugs everybody, but I'm like, $56 ticket versus 150 or whatever it was. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't love her that. I mean, you know what I mean? Just to meet her. But she stuck around and I could kick myself. And Oliver said, you could have, but it was that, Janine brain of like, oh, Oliver's out there and he's waiting and I got to go. Cause we're like leaving and she's at the end of the stage. People are just going up to the stage talking to her. And, like from listening to the Handsome podcast, people like give her gifts and stuff and they're handing her stuff. And she was just so sweet. She's like bent down on the stage so she could hear people. And I'm looking over like, oh, oh, yeah. But then, I did want to go over, but then I said, he's like, you could have gone over. And I'm like, but really, what would I have said? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a gift for her. Just like, I like you, Fortune. I listen to you every week. I love your stories. I love, how you talk about your mother, Ginger. She's so sweet. Like, I mean, honestly, like what was she gonna say to me? You know what I mean? It's just
Right.
I just love that she was engaging with people. But like I honestly, I was like, what would I say to her? I don't know. I appreciate you. I love what you do. You're awesome. Because I think her laughter, when she laughs on that podcast, it's just so genuine and just it's so heartfelt, and she just seems like real,
Yeah.
and but I mean, like, what was I gonna say to her? But I thought it was cool that she stuck around to talk to everybody.
No, that's really cool. I got to years ago. Lily Tomlin was at West Virginia University, and I waited outside, and she came out and she talked to me, and it was so cold. It was like winter, and she gave me her earmuffs, and I still have them to this day. 'Cause she's like, "You, honey, put these on," and I was like, "I just wanted to tell you, you're my like biggest inspiration as a female comedian. I just think you're a genius. I just your career, like no one has a career like you, Lily. I just love you so much. I love your wife Jane. I love you both so much." And she was just like, "Oh, baby." She was just the most loving. Like, I can't even still to this day. I'm like, I can't believe I met Lily effing Tomlin and she gave me her earmuffs. Yeah. Yeah. That was a big one. I met Woody
I
too.
can. I was gonna say I could share. I met her as well, Lily Tomlin.
Really?
Yes, I did. She was at, and I wish I could remember what the event was, and it might have been a film related thing. My one friend Shannon, excuse me, God rest her soul. She sadly passed away. She was younger than me. I think a form of cancer, only like a year and a half ago. But so we were friends, and she was a filmmaker. My friend Shannon. I was in a really. I'm not blaming her for the film. I'm sure I was terrible, but one of these low budget films that she did. I played a woman who was abused. That was like where we started our friendship. But anyway, it was an event I went to with her and her wife. And I don't know, honest to God, I wish I could remember what it was. And maybe it was Lily Tomlin performed. Maybe it was like a one woman kind of thing, or she was talking at the Kirby Center in Wilkes-Barre. And afterwards, she did do a meet and greet, and I did get to meet her. And I should look around the house because I had one of my business cards. I think I had her sign. I got her. I mean, I might even have a photo. I just remember saying, "Oh, I'm getting into comedy. What is your advice? Whatever." And I just remember she said stage time. She goes, stage time, stage time, stage time. And that was it. But she was very nice. She was kind of subdued, but she was like, there's a lot of people wanted to meet her, but she was very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like a creeper by myself, waiting by what I assumed was her vehicle alone in the cold. And I think she just took such pity on me.
Well, that's pretty
Girl from
cool that you
Pittsburgh.
have her earmuffs, man.
I know exactly where they are too. Yeah, yeah, my Lily earmuffs. She's one of, yeah, I love her. I also got to see Debbie Reynolds do stand up. Like, it was a night of like a music and comedy, and it was a master class. Like, I'm just old school, you know what I mean? Like, I realize like there's very few like younger comedians that I can like sit through a whole special because I'm interested or I like that style of comedy. Zach Galifianakis being one. I like the comedians of comedy. That whole documentary I adored, and I love Zach, and I think Patton Oswalt's great. Brian Posehn, obviously Maria. But yeah, I really like Marcello Hernandez, and he's someone I actually got to meet years ago. He was the young comedian, I was the headliner, and he was like, "I want to be like you when I grow up." And 2 years later, he was on SNL, and I was like, "Okay, I'm glad I'm mentally well because that could be something that would go into a suicide note that I'd be writing."
Oh my God.
Ooh, okay, good for you, Marcello. Good for you. But I watched his stand-up special because he was even like, "Guys, anyone who's ever talked to me after a show, this is dedicated to you." So I'm like, "Okay, it's kind of dedicated to me. Let me watch this." And it was really good. And he grew up with immigrant parents, and he's just his perspective is unique and kind of old school. And I was a big Ricky Ricardo fan growing up. So there's
Hmm.
something about Cuban men I'm always going to root for. I don't know why. I know Trump wants to own Cuba, but I don't know what to say. I love Ricky Ricardo.
I like Marcello on SNL. I love his vibe is very cool. And I've seen interviews with him and his mom, who's gorgeous, by the way. And I'm sure I don't want me to go just by looks, but she's, beautiful. But he's so cute and sweet about his mom. And I think his characters are very funny. I will say I did not get through the Netflix special. So maybe I'll have to go back. Like, because I know people are like, oh, he's so funny, whatever. I watched like 5 to 10 minutes, and I wasn't really laughing. And maybe because I was thinking of how he is on SNL and I like those characters, and maybe I'd need to give it more, but I didn't. I didn't really laugh a lot. I'd have to give it more. But another person I don't love that people are always raving over, and I think he's funny, but he gets on my nerves. Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah, yeah. I like him because I mean I can relate to a lot of Italian humor.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, like he does do that. Like I would never achieve that level of hitting the Italian American comedy out of the park quite the way man. But he and Marcello both do the exact same thing where they they're slightly caricatures of themselves. So it's a lot of this and a lot of the same. And it's like, okay, we get it. We get it. You don't have to do it for everybody.
That's why I think Sebastian, like, don't get me wrong, I watched his special and I watched the whole thing and I laughed. But it's that like that just gets on my nerves because I'm like, is this you walking around day to day? Like, I don't love like maybe it's just that it gets to be a bit too much. But by the way, Marcello's impersonation of him now he's doing holy hell, like
But
wow.
yet Marcello is sort of the Cuban version of Sebastian. Like they are the same exact. Like when you watch a stand, you're like, well, someone could do that bit about you too, man. But like, it's you have the same vibe. Like I always thought that about Marcello. I'm like, he's sort of the Cuban Sebastian. Like it's very similar. Like he's doing Cuban America, he's doing Italian American, high energy, the same kind of movements, over inflectuating your dialect, which neither of you do when you're just talking at a store, but okay, that kind of vibe. But I mean, I do realize too, you have to like have your character and
Yeah.
that's your vibe. My vibe is almost too much realness. I don't know why I decided to be the Frances McDormand of comedy, like three billboards in Missouri. Gab, talk more about trauma and make us laugh. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm laying into it and I'm coming back for what is mine. No, I took like a year off of producing in Pittsburgh and it's really left people like, what is happening? And it's like, I've had shows, you just don't know about them because I'm getting paid and they're for private clients. But I have sort of been like naturally with this month coming up and just sort of doing reflection. And I was like, I think I need to start producing locally again. I think it's time. I think I'm gonna do it again. As much as I don't love local comedy. I love me and I want to do comedy and I live locally. So that's the way I'm viewing it rather than like trying to get on shows and I hope all the vultures don't come out looking for stage time because it's not going to be like that.
Mm.
So I just, I have to make it like it's the grown up, humble, we're just doing comedy because we love it kind of a vibe. Please, please, no, none of that. Get out of here. And I have another adult who, I say adult, they're all adults, but they don't act like them. I have another older adult who is going to like co-produce with me. So,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I know I remember you were at a different place with that, but like and I'll start to close because I know you have places to go and I do too. And someone was just on my porch and now of course I'm distracted. I'm like, well, who the hell was on my porch? What are they doing? What did they leave on my porch? Um, you were talking about like I know before you used to do a show at the Brillo Box, and you would get donations for different nonprofits, and you generously have donated to the Humor Therapy Fund, and I appreciate that. And you said people missed you, but you were like kind of like you were just done with that, right? You were moving on, but there's that kind of like again, it's that the balance or that like pull where it's like you deserve to get paid, but there is something special about comedians. And I joke that I don't know that I have it where some people are like, I just want stage time. I just want to perform. And they don't care because they really love what they're doing. And sometimes I feel bad that I don't have that. But then I'm kind of like, but I get tired of like this idea that things just do it for free. But I get doing it because you love it. I totally do. But I think maybe with me, it's because with the business Laugh to Live, I do a lot of that stuff where I don't get paid because I do want to share it because we need it and it feels good. And maybe it's still Catholic guilt. Who the hell knows? But but with the comedy, I'm kind of like, you know what? At 54, I'm tired. So, okay, I will do this show, occasional free show. But I'm like, out of respect, just throw me some money. So, but that's my thing. But I do know how much comedians just love to perform that it's just like, just want that stage time. And I do wish I had that feeling about it. And I guess I don't have that eagerness or passion myself, but.
yeah, I don't even know. For me, it was a lot of like the like getting happy and loving myself and being like, well, I don't need that. Like, I don't need to do a free show. I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm actually being tortured by people who want stage time, which I find it exhausting. Like, I'm sorry, you're an accountant. You have no intention of doing this for real. Why are you bothering me for 9 minutes? Have a little bit of like goddamn grounding and self-reflection. Like, that's where I'm just like, no. If you are mentally unsound, you are unhinged, you can't see that this is just what it is. It's nothing. You're not going to get famous at my little show at a comic book store. Please just stop. Like I have no room for that. Like my life doesn't have room for that. I love being a real regular person who happens to do comedy sometimes, speak sometimes, sings for kids sometimes. And if that's not the show you're on, then like just please stay out of my little periphery. That's sort of like I got burned out by local comedy and I needed a year of just like, do I even want to do local comedy? And the only reason I want to do it is because I think I'm good at it. And I think I would love, like, the people who do enjoy seeing me deserve to see me. It's not fair to like go into hiding and never do it again when I built a fan base for 15 years. That seems cruel. And I was resentful of people sending me messages for the last year of like, when are you doing a show and when can I see you? And I'm like, I am doing shows. They're for people who pay me, like, and getting angry. And it was like, you're not in self. Like, that's not true. You love that these people love your stand up and want to see you. You're also burned out. Both are true. We can't do it right now. But finally, like, I really took this winter to just hibernate and just take care of Gab and not put any expectations or pressure on myself, not to earn any amount of money, do any amount of shows, just rest. And at the end of that 3 months, I've been presented with a venue and I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to do this again because I want to do it, not because I need to do it, not because I need applause. I just kind of want to. I want to share again. I want to share, and I got a bunch of new material, and you guys should hear it because I think it's good. So yeah, that's just my relationship with comedy has always been super conflicting and frustrating, and there's been so much bullying and a lot of Annie Oakley. I don't know, anything you can do, I can do better, and just trying to dominate for the first years of this career to be like, I will be the best comedian in Pittsburgh, and I will run the show, and I will have 5 rooms. Stop telling me I'm not funny. And it was like this almost a response to bullying. And then it got to like, I started to get mental health help. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to produce what I want. And then I was more like, F taking it seriously. I'll let anyone. So I would let anyone who didn't deserve 10 minutes do 10 minutes. Cause I'm like, what's deserved? And who am I to judge what's good? So comedians who no one else would give 5 minutes to, I would give 10 to 15 minutes to, right? Almost as another, you're not going to decide what can go on stage. I decide. Like it was all like a creepy power trip. So when I was able to just like get to the happiest place of my life, I'm like, wait, I don't like doing this. I don't want to be here. And I certainly don't want to be here on Tuesday nights when I have to do a school show the next morning. I'm done. Peace out, everybody. And yeah, and it's just been, and it was like I didn't make an announcement. I haven't talked about it publicly. So I know that people are just like, did she quit? What did she do? And it's like, I'm just happy. That's if you were a real fan, you'd be like, thumbs up, Gap. We're happy for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Everyone's thing is their own, right? It's their own personal. Because I remember last year, I think it was last year. So there's a couple guys that are really doing a ton of shows here in Scranton lately, and good for them. And they're hungry for it. I mean, they're doing like, they were a couple of them running an open mic once a week and then producing shows here, there, and everywhere. And like, good for them. And I remember saying to the guy, and I probably put too much, I have my own narrative about what he thinks. Maybe he's probably hasn't thought about it ever since. But like me saying to him that like, yeah, I did do open mics in my 30s, but I'm like 54 now. I don't want to, I don't have to, whatever. And he just kind of had like a shock look, but it's like, I didn't mean it like I don't have to, like I'm not like, oh, I'm done, I'm good. It's not that at all. It's just that it's not a priority to me. And I don't want to sit through, 3 hours of, a lot of dick jokes and a lot of whatever. I'd honestly rather be on my couch or I'd rather be watching Netflix. So I think of that. And again, maybe he didn't think anything of it. It was my interpretation of it. But it's like, I say good for them, but it's like, whatever you want to do, that's totally up to you. It's like, I have always said, like, I'm not trying to quote unquote make it. Like, I don't see that happening. It was never a goal. If it was, I'd be taking it more seriously and I'd be performing more. I'd be going into New York or going into Philly. I'm not. I'm doing my thing here. And the joy I get from it is writing material. I mean, I've been doing some of the same jokes, I'll admit, but even like tweaking them, finding new lines to add to them, finding new things and trying to lean. Is why I do want to continue to do it. I'm just not worried about getting to an open mic, and I don't really do them. I did accept a show, I think it was about a month or so ago, working with a comedian who, we hadn't really worked together and the pay was like $20, $25, whatever. And I was like, you know what? I guess it depends on when I'm approached, my mood too. Cause I'm like, you know what? Sure, I'll do that. It's a different venue I've never been to. It's, different people. And I know a couple of them, but like, and it was fine. I got some laughs and it was a nice enough night. Like just if I feel like it, like that's kind of it. But I want to lean more into finding the funny in my life, especially now with what's going on with Dad and like finding the funny and like to your point about like I think you've said this many times about like the way it's run and you're supposed to be this style, this do so many laughs in so many minutes, whatever. Just doing your own thing, like some of the jokes are going to possibly be dark because of what's going on with dad, or different things that are going on, or like trying to lean into making fun of myself for some of my like a lot of my flaws. I do enjoy that aspect of it and trying to like think of new ways to say it and to get the jokes. But again, everyone's relationship with whatever they're doing, comedy or anything in your life, is your own. You don't have to worry about comparing it. And just, I love though where you're at, like where you said you took the time, you're happy, and now you know why you're going to come back out and do it. And you're going to have fun and you're going to make people laugh.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, and I'm excited about it. And yeah, and into what you were saying about what I always do say, because when Lily said to you stage time, she didn't say open mic, she said stage time, and that's sort of been my argument. Like it's always been, well, Gab doesn't do the open mic scene. And it's like, yeah, but Gab is on stage. Literally, Gab is getting paid to be on stage, so Gab is in front of people. Gab knows stage work. Gab knows how to work with the crowd. Gab knows when to stop for a laugh and when to come back. Gab's been doing theater since she was in college. Gab's been performing professionally since she was in high school. Gab knows what she's doing. So maybe Gab doesn't have to be at the 5 minute dick joke fest that you call an open mic, because Gab is saving her happiness and her joy and her sanity. Also, I know this because I'm rooted in like writing and theater and filmmaking and music production. I am more of a practice at home kind of a gal in the mirror. I don't need men who don't want to laugh at funny Gabby judging my new material. I'll judge it, I'll tweak it, I'll keep going over it. I when I have new jokes, it's a constant. I am telling it and reviving it and tweaking it and being like, oh, that could be better. Here's the new punchline. Oh, Gab, that's how you started off. Why would I need to do that in front of people? Like it's my art. Don't tell me how to do it. Don't tell me how to
Yeah.
grab Frankenstein. I'll do it how I want to do it. Thank you.
I love that. I love that. Oliver is often my sounding board for a new joke or whatever, and I'll text it to him, which of course I know that's not the best because he's reading it, which is he's not getting the delivery, but still he has a theater background and the whole like the writing aspect of it. So I'll be like, in fact, it's funny. I think I shared this already. So listeners who've heard before will be like, oh, that story again. I did an event in February that I had been wanting to do, Rom and Com, where my friend who's a romance author read from one of her novels. And then Mickey Orlowski and I, well, in the beginning, we did just 5 minutes. I said, do something like related to relationships because it was around Valentine's Day. And I decided to specifically write a poem about perimenopause. But I started off like it's, about the relationship I'm in, and it's perimenopause. And it was funny because I wasn't finished, but I said it to him and he liked it. And I was just like, oh, you like anything? Or you say, I was like not appreciating it. I'm just like, oh, so then I sent him like a revised version, and like it wasn't as like he wasn't as praising it, and he's like, "Wow, you're tough. Before you thought it was too easy. Now you're saying I didn't like it enough." And then when I didn't like 2 lines, I knew they could be better. Let's put it that way. And I was at the museum where the show was going to be, and it's like 30 minutes before the show, and I'm like, "Ooh, here's my lines. I got them." And I sent them to him, and he's like, "No, I love these. These are much better." But he's my sounding board usually. But and that's my own hangups where I'm like, well, you just like my stuff. That's why you're saying you think it's funny. But like, because I'm like, well, be honest with me. But then when he was too harsh, I was like, you don't like it?
No, my mom was that person for me. I always said she was my open mic, and she would like she hated blue humor. She'd be like, "That's not you. Don't do it. I don't like blue." And then there would be times where I would get a reaction that was not like any other reaction. Like I remember one time, it was like a more of a theatrical bit where it was I sang a part of a song that Judy Garland sings. It was just about like being a comedian and why couldn't I be a cooler art? Like, why couldn't I be a piano player? When you're a comedian, everyone's like, oh, tell me a joke. Say something funny. What's the funniest thing you ever said? But when you're a piano player, people don't do that. And I'm like, wait, you know what? I bet being a piano player is just as hard. People are probably like, hey, can you play my brother's wedding? Hey, can you play my mom's funeral? Hey, can you do that? And you're just like, I just want to play the piano. And then I would like fall to the ground and then start singing this Judy Garland song. So I did this all for her in our kitchen. And then I sing the whole song. And when I get to the end, I just start crying and I'm like, I just want to play the piano. And it was just like me collapsing on the floor. And when I say my mother was crying and applauding and got up with her cane, and I was like, okay, you don't do that for every bit. So that's like one piece I'll like throw in if I'm doing like an hour and I'm like, all right, I'll throw in the piano bit for this one. But like, yeah, but she was always like, so I could tell what was like what she thought was next level, what she thought was funny, and what she told me not to do ever again. So I really appreciate that of her.
Yeah. Well, and I think we know, like, even with that example with Oliver, there were two lines in this like little, and I mean, it was kind of a cheesy poem, but it got laughs, and that was the point. It wasn't like, and it was just, it served the purpose for that. Cause then after my friend Tina read the book, Mickey and I just did improv, which we had fun because I don't get to do that too often. But like, I knew there was a couple lines, like a lot of it, I was like, no, I like this. But two lines, I was like, they're not that great, but whatever. And then when I did get the other two, I knew myself. I'm like, these are more solid. These are better because we have a sense. But I love your commitment to things. It makes me think of Tig Notaro. Like, I mean, she got laughs dragging a stool across the stage. It's like, again, I'm not saying it's certainly not brilliant or whatever, but like her commitment, especially when people aren't laughing and it's like, is this a bit? Like, we can't tell. I love that commitment because it's like, I'm not afraid. I'm not
Yeah.
afraid of, and I appreciate that about you. I don't have that, but I respect you for having that because it's like you're committed to it and there's a payoff in the end and people need to hang in there and get it.
Yeah, I think it's like I think there has been some validity in like other local comedians like critiquing me and saying I'm not a traditional comedian and she's theater and she's that. And it's true because my root is in the theater and I've always wanted to incorporate drama. I would cry in the middle of a set. I will, whatever I want to do to get the point across. So I can give them that, but I don't think it takes away from the end of the day that I'm still really funny when I'm bringing in the funny. And that's the point. And Josh was always someone who was like, why are you listening to these people? Like, Gab, I've never seen anyone locally make people laugh the way you are. I love working. You're the best performer there is. Like, what do you talk? And I like having someone like him too, who I think is so talented, always boosting me and always building me. I mean, Josh, like there are times where I'm like, I can't believe how kind he is. Like he is the sweetest, kindest. Like I'll sing a song and he'll just be like, "Oh my God, how beautiful was Gabby's vocals?" Like into the microphone to the crowd. I'm just like, "Joshua, why are you so?" But I think when you have that and you know you're good, you can give and be like, "Oh my gosh, that was beautiful, Gab." And I just think he's so hilarious. So I'm always like, Josh, you could do comedy. You don't need me. Like you could do it by yourself. You're that funny. He's like, no, no, no. But yeah,
You guys have a great relationship too. I love that. Like that's a give and take, but it's really nice.
we're so lucky. I'm so happy this is like worked out. We stuck through it. We were able to manage when he needed to leave for a little bit. Yeah, like I just keep saying to him, I'm like, Josh, like, I'm glad we started it when we did, but we're the best we've ever been with it because, like, we did need to mature. You needed to be a dad. I needed to have Oscar in my life. Like, we see it so differently now. And I just feel like for every part of my career, I just feel like I'm at the best I've ever been, which I think is what you want as you get older. You don't want to just like I'm mailing it in. I'm growing, I'm still improving, and I just think there's so many more opportunities I haven't even thought of yet. And I really want to do as much as I'm not a fan of the internet, it stresses me out. I would like to put more onto the internet. I do think it's a way to combine my acting and my comedy and my drama and my music, and it probably will be the best way to put myself out there. So I've been saying that to Josh, like we should consider like we're never going to be Miss Rachel and we're never going to be Danny Go. His production value is too high. But there's some in between that we are, and I'm sure we could do that. We were trying it with the TikTok. I don't know. I mean, we're not that consistent. We go to a lot of little schools where the internet's banned, you know what I mean? So we can't do
Mm.
a video at a school where they're like, no TikTok at this school. So that's, yeah.
Well, I love where you're at. I love how happy you are. And so we'll end on that note because I think that's great. And boy, as if you're familiar with my conversations with Gab, that you get it. And if you're new to these conversations, yeah, we talk about a lot of things. It's not just a laugh a minute here. We like to get serious. We like to dig in. We like to just share our thoughts and our feelings. And I love it. And I love catching up with you. It was such a pleasure. Thanks so much for making time today, Gab.
Thanks for having me, Janine.
I should phrase, I'm always talking or thinking of my words, and someone pointed this out recently. We don't make time. There's only you took time. So thank you for taking the time. You didn't make it because you can't make time, but thank you for taking the
Yeah.
time. Well, everyone listening, and I hate that I say that, but yes, because if you're not listening, then you're not hearing this. But Gab Bonesso, check out the show notes. I will put a link to Gab's link tree and her website there where you can check her out. So if you have a school that you do cool assemblies and you want to promote something like, hey, empathy, kindness, and put it in a cool way. Josh and Gab do shows with music and laughter, comedy. They are high energy, as you can imagine. It's a great thing to check out. Or if you want to hire Gab to come and speak for some kind of conference or gathering, mental health, as Gab mentioned, trauma informed, and she will make you laugh. So check her out. Thank you again. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, reach out to me, Janine Luby. You can find me on LinkedIn, Funny Wine Girl Janine on Facebook and on Instagram. Or if you have a friend who you're like, oh my gosh, my friend is so amazing, I would love to see her on the podcast. Reach out to me. Of course, as I like to say, kind of make sure that this is the type of person who'd want to talk on a podcast. That would be great to find out as well. And if you'd like to support conversations like this, I do have sponsorship packages that are very affordable, as low as $25 shout outs if you want to like promote an event or your website for your business or whatever. But then I do have packages that are a little bit more of an investment because you get more. So reach out to me. I'll put my email in the show notes if you're interested in that. And hey, as I say each week, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my wine glass.